Hello and welcome to the first installment of Taxfyle's new series, Pro Spotlight, where we highlight the pros that keep Taxfyle running and help countless individuals and small businesses stay happy during tax season and beyond. In our first episode, we have Daniel Araya, who's based out of Boston. With a wealth of experience working at firms, he has quickly become one of our platform's top pros. Daniel, thank you for joining us. How long have you been an accountant, and what was your past experience before joining Taxfyle?
Thank you. Happy to be here. I've been doing tax accounting now for about 10 or 11 years. I've been a CPA for about 7 years now. I focus on individual taxation, so 1040s, 1041s, trusts, estates, gift tax, and whatnot. Before this, I worked at a large national firm. I've worked at two national firms now, but I've also worked at smaller, mid-sized regional firms and, some smaller mom and pop operations as well. So, I've gotten an opportunity to see different sizes of firms, see different styles of processes. And I think that's really equipped me to be able to work in a lot of different workspaces like you have to do in Taxfyle.
And why did you decide to become an accountant?
Oh, that's a good question. It was actually one of my uncles that recommended I go the accounting route. I said I was interested in business. I was interested in entrepreneurial activities. So when I was going to college, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to pursue in light of that. And one of my uncles suggested I go into accounting since it's well-respected major in the business world, easy to find a job, and kind of gives you a foundational, viewpoint into, how businesses run and numbers and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of just fell into it, to be honest with you.
So how did you find out about Taxfyle?
Yeah, towards the end of the time that I was at the last firm I was working at, I was really unhappy working there. They worked us like dogs. I think I was working around 90 hours during busy season per week, Sundays and all that kind of stuff, and just being generally miserable. And I got to the point where I was really questioning, is this really the lifestyle I want to have? And, is this what I want to do for the foreseeable future and the rest of my life? And, the answer to that for me was no. It wasn't really, I was looking at my bosses and the partners there, which is, obviously if you stay there long enough, that's sort of the general track you're going into, and I was like, I don't really want to be them. Yeah, they make a lot of money, but, they just kind of seem, I don't know, I just wasn't really into it. So I was sort of searching for something different. I applied to different types of positions, stuff that wasn't even really tax related, and I was kind of having a hard time finding something that went along with my experience. And especially doing individual taxation is a highly niche area of taxation. I couldn't go into a public company and work in their accounting department because I didn't do corporate accounting. I didn't do corporate tax. So, I would have had to start, at the bottom rung at a company and take a 30-40% pay cut. And, I'm at the time in my life where, I just got married and I was like, I'm not really trying to take a 40% pay cut right now. So, I was just looking for different options. And I had heard about doing outsourcing as a professional, PwC, for example, hires CPAs during busy season only, for example, and they pay a higher hourly rate because they're only hiring you for a certain amount of time. And so there's other accounting firms that do that same type of activity. So I actually started working at two different accounting firms. Each of them I was only doing 2 or 3 days a week, working part-time, but hourly during that busy season. So I was like, all right, I'll do this for now. I'll make the transition out of, this job, and, maybe I'll be able to, I did the calculations and I was like, all right, if I work this many hours, this many days, I could probably save up this amount of money so that, I can have a stash of cash. And then during the summer when it's slow, I can decide what I want to do with my life. And, that through Google searching, I actually just happened to find Taxfyle. And that sounded like, okay, I'm working at these two firms. Maybe this is something that I could do for a few hours a day and, earn some extra money. So, it just so happened that I found Taxfyle and it was kind of along the lines of what I was sort of thinking at the time anyway, that being leveraging my experience and my skills and, making, being a contractor and making money during that busy season after I quit my job. So, it all just kind of aligned, and it just so happened that I stumbled upon Taxfyle.
What made you want to work with Taxfyle full time?
So after that initial busy season, I was working and doing Taxfyle like 3 hours or 4 hours a day. I would just do, an hour or two before work because, like I said, I was working at those two other firms part time. And then I would do like an hour or two at night when I came home from work. And then I might throw in another few hours on a Saturday. And then when I started getting paid, I was like, man, I'm only doing a few hours a week and I'm getting paid like thousands of dollars. And, I did the math on, how many hours I usually like to work per week times my average hourly rate that I was getting with Taxfyle. And I was like, man, I can really make this like a viable thing. So, honestly, after that first spring busy season that I worked at Taxfyle, before the fall busy season started, based on my calculations, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to try doing Taxfyle full time. And so it was kind of the math. I just did the math on how many jobs I can do per day, how many hours I can work per day, how much do I get paid per job, roughly multiply that by a full busy season, and I was like, yeah, this is a way better decision than working at a firm, both money wise and time wise.
So we like to pride ourselves in allowing pros that work with Taxfyle to have a flexible degree of earning potential, whether they want to work with us full-time like yourself or part-time if they already have a job at an existing firm. So Daniel, how do you think that prospective pros, regardless of the amount of time that they have, can benefit from working with Taxfyle?
I think the benefit is really flexible. It's kind of whatever you want it to be. If you only have, like I said, if I was working at two firms 6 days a week. And so if you only have like a couple hours a day extra and you're like, all right, I want to make some extra money this busy season, you can do that. You can tell, whoever the job managers are, like, hey, I only have 5 hours a week. I only have 10 hours a week that I can do. And you can pick up jobs as you please, as long as you're working within the due date of when the job is due, whether it be 3 days from now, 5 days from now. And you're like, all right, I can do 4 jobs in the next 2-3 days. It can be something as simple as that. Or it can be something as simple and as flexible as, I want to do this full time. I want to work the hours that I want to work per day. And it can be something for you for that. So, I mean, I think the spectrum is really broad as to what the benefits are and the flexibility that is offered. I mean, you want to talk about flexibility. Like, I don't have a boss. Like, I pick up as much work as I want whenever I want. And as long as I'm doing a good job and as long as I'm getting things in on time, there's no problem. Like, I don't have somebody being like, oh, you didn't put in enough hours this week. Like this whole summer, I don't have to do anything this whole summer. And, a lot of these firms that people work at have budgeted hours and they'll start emailing you, or the boss will pull you in and be like, hey, you're below your hours for this month. And you always got to tell people, hey, where's the work? I have hours. And you're always stressed. Oh, I'm not meeting my hours. Or I have to meet my hours this week. And with Taxfyle, you don't have to do that. You don't have to pick up any work. you can pick up a lot of work. I think that Taxfyle matches more of what the reality of being a tax professional is. And that reality being that certain times of the year we're busy. You put in the hours during those times. And there's certain times of the year that no firm is busy. No firm is busy in July and the beginning of August. No firm is busy in November. Those are some of the slowest months, but they still expect you to put in work and to search around for work. And sometimes it's like, search around for what? There's nothing to do. Whereas Taxfyle is like, you don't have a boss. So yeah, you do have to be self-motivated and you do have to push yourself because, like, for example, I have stuff to do this week and I'll be honest, I don't really actually want to do any work. I don't have to do any work. I'm doing it because I'm like, well, my desire to make some extra money is outweighing my desire to not do work right now. But that's the flexibility of it. Like, I could, at the end of this week decide, hey, maybe I'm too burnt out for this. I'm just going to take the next 4 weeks off, and I can do that. And, nobody's going to ask me. Maybe somebody will message me and be like, hey, do you have time this week to do da 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 da? And I can say no, free and clear, because with Taxfyle I'm free. And I think that's the biggest benefit about Taxfyle, especially if you're doing it full time, is that it just offers freedom that you never, ever will experience at any firm, period. And I can say that because I've worked at, 5 different firms now, all of different sizes, and I've never experienced this type of freedom before. But like I said, if you already work at a firm, and you have a few hours here and there and you want to earn some extra cash, that's good too. And Taxfyle can do that for you as well.
What makes you so successful on our platform?
Well, there's a few things. The first is quality of work. I am not perfect by any means. I'm not an expert by any means on anything, but I really strive to work at a very high level, as high as I can. I try to have a high standard for myself. So I think my work quality is high. I think I have a process of how I do everything. I have to work within the processes of every firm because every firm has different processes, but the way I do things and the processes I've set up for myself, the way I keep track of all my jobs, because I think I've done I forget how many this spring busy season, but I think I did 460 or 470 returns or something like that. So, to keep track of all of that, I have all these spreadsheets set up of keeping track of what's in, what's out, when things are due. So I can prioritize and be like, all right, well, this thing isn't due for 6 days, but this stuff is due in 2 days. So, obviously I should be doing this first. So, processes are super important to be successful. And that goes for any business. And even when working in a firm, if you don't have a good process, you're just going to drown. The other thing that makes me successful is the amount of hours that I work. And that kind of puts me into the process or puts me back into that whole process thing. Is I become very regimented during tax season. I wake up every day at 4:15 in the morning. Part of that is due because my cat wakes me up. And so I just stay up and I'm like, well, I'm up. So what am I going to do? Sleep another hour and a half and then get up again? I'm already up. Let's just work. So I work every day. I start working at 5:30. I work until 8:30 at night. Maybe I'll take little breaks here and there, but I'm consistently doing that every day, and even Saturdays. This is by choice. So if you want to earn the money, you're going to have to put in the hours, and it's like feast or famine. All of a sudden all the work drops, and it's like a waterfall of work. So there's a table of money there, and you can take as much money as you can. So for me, I'm just I know what it's like to work 90 hours a week. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to do that because I personally don't. I personally think that everybody needs at least one day off. A lot of those big firms, people work 7 days a week. I'm not into that. But, I'm going to work 6 days a week and I'm going to put in 12 to 15 hours a day. And, just by putting in those hours, that alone makes you successful in how much work you can do, how much work you can pick up. I have to put in the hours and I have to work really hard. I work really hard and I put in 80 to 85 hours a week during busy season. So, this is not for nothing, but, the fact that I got like my first busy season working with Taxfyle, I got a 30% raise just for that decision. Like you can't get that at any job. Got 30% raise. And this year I'm going to make even more because I went full time. I'm going full time for the full year and I'm putting in those hours all the time. And so, if you're questioning how much money you can make, you're like, oh, I got my benefits and stuff. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. But, if you Google how much a tax manager makes and even go maybe towards the higher end of that, that's what is the potential that I'm seeing right now in my going into my fourth busy season here. So, you go for it. I say just go for it because you're going to be pleasantly surprised, especially if you do really good work at, what you can do.
And Daniel, is there anything that I may not have asked you that you think it's important that people know about what it's like being a tax pro at Taxfyle?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that it definitely requires you to take it very seriously. You have to treat it like this is your business because it is. And, you can be flying high and being like, oh, wow, I'm getting all this money and whatever. But you also do need to work really hard and you need to do really good work too because, Taxfyle as a company is also looking to put forward quality people as well because they're trying to keep happy the firms that sign up to do work for Taxfyle. But if you're doing quality work, if you're working hard, if you're putting in the hours, there's a lot of potential at Taxfyle that you will not see at any accounting firm, big or small.
Thank you, Daniel, for having the time to speak with me today. I really appreciated all the insight that you provided. For everybody watching, please don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Once again, thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate it.
Sure. Happy to be here. Thanks.